Righty then. Let's do it. All right. Let's see what happens when I add this. Let me add to stage. Before presenting, remove the other media. All right. Okay. All right, we'll move that. All right. Let's see what we got. Switch. Go to mine. Okay. All right. Let's roll, shall we? All right, welcome in. Big slate, a lot of games on tap today. Got a lot of data. What games you guys want to talk about here for a while? We have some updated numbers, some updated data rather. Kind of a weird week with our data, but we got it all situated, figured out. Massive slate, so looking forward to making some plays today. We have, I think, 12. No, hold on. So 2 already passed, or just 1 passed. So 13 games. Oh my gosh, 13 games that we're playing today officially. Sheesh. All right. Makes me a little nervous, right? But volume is your friend when you have an edge, generally. Value is value. You got to roll with it. All right, guys, welcome in. Let me know what games you want to talk about. I got our updated data, updated numbers. Happy to break down any game that's of interest. Just let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, and we'll get this going. Or in the chat. W's in the chat. All right. First one up though. The market's been. Gotta refresh. There's been some interesting market movements this week. Let's see. All right. So first up, early round slates that we have. Just SMU in the early slate here. So we got a 2.5. There's a couple of expensive 2.5s still available, but this is largely moved to the 3. We got this at 2.5 minus 110. So generally happy with that. But yeah, we make the number -6 in favor of SMU. So best you can do right now looks like -2.5, minus 115 over at FanDuel. So still edge to be had there if you are so inclined. All right. And then is that really it for the early slate? Yeah, that's actually it. So a lot of games in the early slate, but then yeah, most of our card comes in the afternoon games. So it's going to be a long afternoon, but all good. Penn State and Texas. Okay. So let's get to it. So first of all, Texas is they're going up against San Jose State, correct? Correctamundo. All right. So for Texas, just got to get there. A lot of Texas schools. So we make the number 33.5 in favor of Texas. So the market is giving you what, 36, 37.5. So we show no edge. That's a negative EV situation, basically negative 10% edge. based on what our numbers say, if you wanted to ride Texas against San Jose State here. So not a good situation to be. What's up, Robert? Not a good situation to be in, from what our numbers say, for betting on Texas. But on the flip side, San Jose State, that doesn't mean it's a good bet on that end either, right? San Jose. Yeah, so that's still a negative edge situation for San Jose State. So that's a stay away game. I mean, we're a little below market, but using a cover probability framework, yeah, you got to think how many times will team X that's favored by 37 actually cover the spread, right? Based on what you originate, and we're showing no value whatsoever there. So that's Texas, San Jose State. The other one you wanted is Penn State, right? Penn State versus FIU. Let me see if we have the right output for that. Penn State. Okay, so looks like market is at 41.5 median. We make the number 42.5. So similar situation, but less dramatic. We're showing no edge on that game. So we're effectively right on market. Even the best odds you can get, 41.5 minus 110 over at BetMGM, looks like is good for about a negative 1% edge. So not much doing there from what our numbers show. And you can see, guys, I'm gonna add this to the screen real quick here, just so you guys can see. Oh, I gotta remove this. And I'll just make this bigger too. So here is the model page from our website. And again, this is what our subscribers see updated daily, several times a day based on the market movements. So we take our numbers, right? These are the regress numbers. This is all the variables that go into our models. We spit out a line. We tell you what the market is. We tell you what the median price is, and then give you the cover probability, right? So this is how you quantify edges in the marketplace. This is really what true professionals do, and this is what we have been doing for the past couple of years. So you can see, based on all those factors buried in, you see the various edges for the games that were, that meet our criteria today. But you get output for every single game, guys. Like this is one of the benefits too. It obviously identifies games where there's good value, good EV to be had, but also the ones where your mental model might be like, oh shit, I think Nebraska is going to clobber. Who are they playing today? I don't even know. Nebraska is going to clobber. Who are they playing? Drawing a blank. Akron. That's right. Even though we're on Akron. Yeah, you might think they clobber Akron, but again, based on how you originate the number, you make it, and then what the market's given you, right? All these other variables that go into it, that your mental model, my mental model, any human being's mental model cannot really pick up or incorporate. This will tell you, like, all right, you should probably stay away from this game. You don't really have an edge otherwise, right? Your mental model is going to lose in the long run. At best, you go 50-50 over the long stretch, right? So, all right, let's bring it back. So let's go back here. Here we go. All right. So anyway, yeah, let me know. Got, again, lots of games here still on the slate. Let me know what are the games you want. Jin Lee, thank you for the ping. Yeah, happy to go down any other matchups you guys want. It's a huge slate. We initially had 4 plays going into this weekend, and then we finalized some stuff with our CFB developers that we use for a lot of the data and the play-by-play stuff. And yeah, we identified last night 10 additional plays that still had value. We double-checked the numbers, double-checked what the market had done over the week, and so we added 10 plays, which is frankly not the normal for us. We are usually betting into the less mature markets, right? Usually betting into the openers, but this was kind of a weird one-off situation for us, so we had to move, we had to adjust and capitalize. So we got 10 extra plays. It is a huge packed slate, but yeah, a lot of dogs, but we're hoping for a good, profitable weekend, of course. Still early in the season, still only week 2, but yeah, volume is your friend when you have an edge, and we feel confident that we do. So, all right, let's see what else. Some of them are ugly too. Like like I don't feel great about like we're on Akron today, right? Going against Nebraska, and like that's also one of the things we talk about this every single year of using these models. It's like you would never think to look at most of these games as a kind of a casual better, kind of a casual fan, right? But because you can price every single game, you get to find value down the menu. You get to find value that are not just games, but the marquee matchups, right? The televised games, right? There are so many games every single week, and this is in my opinion one of the big benefits of doing so, because the market, generally speaking, market participants, especially casual bettors, will not pay as much attention to these kind of obscure games. Like how many people are going to be watching Nebraska and Akron today? I don't think the number is going to be very high. How about Marshall? Jinley says. All right, Marshall. They're going up against. Is Missouri State FCS? Because if they are, then we're not gonna have output. Yeah, someone correct me on that. Is Missouri State FCS or FBS? I don't know. I think they're FCS because we do not appear to have output for them. Yeah, we don't have output for that game. I'm going to say Jinley. Sorry, FCS schools are a slightly different beast. You know, because we use talent data as well. It's a predictive component of all the metrics that we bring in. It's a lot harder to nail down talent among other things in the FCS. So we do not have output for that game. If it's FBS versus FBS game, we will have output for it. Once FCS gets involved, sorry. Savvy. Got it. All right. So yeah, let's take a look real quick. Let's take a look at some of our biggest edges of the day. And again, guys, if you're a subscriber in here, appreciate you tuning in. But if you're not, consider joining for the long haul. One of the benefits too, I think, is, like I said, using this table. Even though we do hit openers, and that's how we traditionally bet, as the market matures through the week, like our numbers will continually regress to the median market line. So we've already anecdotally seen that there will be opportunities later in the week to potentially add on volume, which again is not a bad thing when you have a quantified edge. And there's still going to be kind of a threshold, a cutoff point where, you know, Thursday, Friday, you're talking, it's a very mature market. So we don't have delusions of grandeur. I think that you know, we can't likely beat the closers, frankly. So there is kind of a cutoff point, but still, like, the benefits of using a tool like this throughout the week will continually show you how your numbers stack up against the market. Gotta reload. Gotta reload. All right. Let's keep it going though. Let me know what other games you guys want to talk about. Talked about several good ones already. But yeah, we have, like I said, we have a lot of data, a lot of output for this week, rather. A lot of edges to be had in the market. A lot of green, but also a lot of red. A lot of stayaways, right? But volume is heavy this week, no doubt about it. Let me know what games you guys want to talk about in the chat. Show comments on stage. Do I want to do this? Do I want to show comments on stage? Am I going to get in trouble if I do this? Let's find out. All right. Yeah. So 13 games that we're on, that we have opinions on today officially. So we sent out those updates to our subscribers last night. So hopefully the market doesn't appear to have moved off of too many of them. So I think they're very, very, very gettable still. Houston versus Rice, eh? All right, let's check it out. So let's do a quick little search for Houston. I know it's Rice. I'm not crazy, right? Rice isn't FCS, is it? Yeah, Rice is FBS. No. All right. Houston versus Rice. Timeout. Okay, Rice. All right, Rice, we make the number 14.5. So minus 14.5. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's a naming convention. That's right. The data is still not perfectly cleaned up on the back end. So there's naming conventions. That's why I don't know if you can see this, but it says NA at Rice. But it's just how some different databases literally name the teams. And if there's not a perfect match, it gets all wonky. So, yeah, we make the number 14.5. Market looks like it's at 14. A couple 13.5s out there, but from how we make the number, again, sorry if it's kind of hard to tell on this one, but here's Rice here. So we're not showing any edge on the Rice side of things. It's going to be a similar situation. I can't pull it up exactly for you, but when we're at market, like this, especially at a key number of 14 like that, there's not going to be an edge on either side. So we're pricing this right on market. We're pricing this right on market. All right, that's a little cleaner. But yeah, so our biggest edges today are in the Akron and Nebraska game, followed by the Troy and Clemson game. Both dogs in a big way. Not very pretty, not very sexy, if you will, right? But hey, value is value. You do not discriminate when the numbers and the data bear out value. So, and that's the other thing too. We've I think struggle with, or some people struggle with when betting, generally speaking. Like this is a difficult game, guys. Like if you actually have an edge, if you can actually win or demonstrate winning behavior, the sports books will kick you out. We've been banned, or not banned, but we've been limited pretty significantly at several books already. So we're in that weird precipice of making sure we're able to get down on all of our bets, and potentially having to use P2s or movers or something like that. Because yeah, we're all in Arizona too, and all the exchanges kind of got wiped out here not too long ago from the state. So it is it's not easy. It's not easy. But people have said like, oh, it's so hard to win in sports betting, and if you don't know what you're doing, yes. If you're a casual bettor, you're not going to win. I just period point blank, right? But if you actually take the time to invest and try to model this stuff out, winning is actually not the most difficult part. It's figuring out how to get down. It's figuring out how to stay alive in the game, frankly. Right? You could the attack surface of the books are so large. There's so many options for bettors, so many markets to bet into, right? It's riddled with inefficiencies and soft lines. So once you find an edge and you hit it, that's good. That's great. But that's not going to last forever. You're gonna get banned. You're gonna get kicked out, especially at these rec books. So how do you stay alive? That's the name of the game right now. So I digress. All right, let's go. Let's talk about some more games, guys. Got several huge slate on tap here, kicking off in about an hour and 10 minutes or so. We have a huge stack. We have a huge slate today. 13 additional plays that we have queued up. So really hoping for a good long Saturday. But yeah, let's pull up our model again. Let's pull up what our data set or our data has here. So this is our table. This is our model output table that's available on our website for our subscribers. So, this is a change from last year, and I think it's a really useful tool and addition from last year too. So obviously a lot of this similar, right? So we have what our number makes it, right? Our originated number, our regress number. We bring in what the median line is available in the marketplace as well as the price. And we still have our cover probability, right? So if you make the number 27 and the market's giving you a 34.5 at that price, that combination will cover for you 66% of the time, basically. So the difference between your cover probability and the implied odds of the market here show you your edge, right? So that is how we quantify our edges for every single game, every single week. This is what professional sports betting looks like. You have to be able to price markets. You have to be able to price games, right? If you can't do it, you're guessing. You're guessing. So we do that again for every single game, every single matchup, so you can see, and then you can filter from the highest edges, or you can filter backwards to the lowest edges, right? If your mental model, you think LSU is going to wipe the floor with Louisiana Tech, right? Okay, great. Well, if you want to use our numbers, right, which we use a lot of predictive data, play-by-play data, talent data, that mental models, people's brains. I'm not calling anyone out. Like, I can't do this. You can't do this. Nobody can do this. Our brains are not powerful enough to compute all the things that go into, predicting outcomes. So if you use our numbers as kind of the baseline foundation for that, you can see, given what the market's giving you at, there's negative edge, right? A negative 13% edge in this game. Like, why would you bet into this market? Especially now, Saturday morning, right? You're betting into this Saturday morning for the first time, guys. Like, you're either Billy Walters or you're losing in the long run. That's kind of bottom line. All right, let's go though. We got more matchups to talk about, guys. A few people in the chat here. Seth is also live over on TikTok, so if you want to consume, as well on that platform, head over to TikTok, breaking down the games, breaking down the value, try to give you guys as much as we possibly can here before the slate kicks off. But let's go. Let us know. Let me know what games that you want to talk about. We'll keep this train rolling. All right, let's take a peek at the market though, real quick. See what the market has been doing overnight. So again, SMU has largely moved to the 3. There's a couple of expensive 2.5s, right? So obviously that key number of 3, but when you're talking about a move from 2.5 to 3, price matters. It matters at any number, right? But more, very, very, very much so around these key numbers, right? So you can only get best you can get at 2.5 is minus 114. Looks like an ESPN bet. Everything else is a minus 3. So now, obviously, if it moves to 3, you just add in push probability, right? If they actually win by 3, you're not going to lose if they win by 3, but you're not going to win either. But price matters. Price will always and forever be priority number 1 when you're betting into markets like this, guys. All right, let's go. Lego. So yeah, that one has moved a little bit. Let's see some of the other ones that we're on today. See what the market has done. Western Michigan is still largely 10 and we got a 10. So this is I don't say moved against us, but you can get 10.5s now. Let's see, Rutgers 14.5 still. That's largely what it was last night. We got a 14. Where did we get that at? We got a 14 at DraftKings. DraftKings is now at 14.5. So again, a little bit of movements on ours. What do you think SMU game over and under? Yeah, Jin, thanks for the question, man. We don't have output for over-unders in college football. We do for the NFL, but we don't quite feel confident enough yet in what was going on behind the scenes for the over-under, or to bet into that market for the SMU game. But so I can give you an opinion, but it's just going to be that. It's just going to be one man's opinion, not necessarily data driven. I mean, the market is anticipating a lot of possessions, rather, right? Something to think about that way. And if you want to kind of think about whether or not there's an edge to be had, right, then I would encourage you to go to our website. This is for free. You can go to our college football team data table, right? It's going to have in there a lot of the metrics and the play-by-play stuff that goes into our model, right? You'll be able to see that on our college football team data page. And then you can start to kind of like deconstruct where you think there might be an edge in that game. And you can, so if you go to the table and you can filter and sort by the teams, so you can kind of do like a side-by-side comparison, right? So for example, here, the total in that SMU game, let's just break it down real quick, 65.5, give or take. So so yeah, use an R, and I'm gonna try to I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna try to add our let me share screen. Stop screen. Let me share screen. Let's go team data here. Okay. All right. So Jen, if you're still here, man, this is on our website, btb-analytics.com. You can just go to the college football team data table here for free. And you can kind of start to see the side-by-side of these two teams and how they stack up. And you can try to derive game script from these things. So for example, echo rate over expected. So how often does a team either get at least to the 40-yard line of the opponents? How often do they get in scoring position, right, or generate a big play touchdown? So SMU, 1 week of data, right? So small sample caveats abound. They were 20% better than the average team, or than the average team last week. And also Baylor was generally good as well, 10% better than average, right? And every time they're getting to at least the 40-yard line, right, how many points are they generating on those drives? So almost 5 points a drive every time they have an echo for both of these teams. So again, the market's baking in a lot of possessions, and these teams on a play-by-play basis are potent on offense, right? Again, small caveats, or small sample size caveats abound. Don't get crazy with it. But I wasn't even adding my screen there, my bad. But this is why using data is uber important, at the very least, to improve your mental models, right? Like, most people are not thinking about this stuff, and we have literally spent thousands of hours and tens of thousands of dollars cranking out, trying to figure out which of these advanced metrics are predictive and which ones are not, right? And the ones that are in our model, again, we have found that they all add some sort of predictive power as to whether or not they're going to cover the spread. Again, we don't have the total model baked out yet officially, but again, something that I would encourage you to do on our website. All right, let's roll. Let's keep it rolling. We got some games to break down. All right, let's get back to some market movement here. Let's see. So Miami Rutgers, again, we said 14.5. Excuse me. Troy and Clemson. This is another one. It feels gross. It really does feel gross. But Troy were on 31.5. Market's largely at 30.5 now. So that's good. A little bit of movement in our direction. A couple of 31.5 still available in the marketplace. A little more expensive at minus 115. But let's see. Let's back filter here. So that's, I mean, we're showing, we make the number 25.5 in favor of Clemson here. Markets at 30.5 to 31.5. You never have the edge you think you have, even when you model it out, right? That's a heuristic, a rule of thumb. But we show a pretty large edge in this game. So even if you get a 30.5, there's still value. That's the bottom line here. So all right. I guess let me stop share that one. And let's go back. Let's go back to the future. Let's see, not the team data. Here we go. All right. Oh, let me add this to stage. All right. Add to stage. There we go. All right. Let's go. Let's keep talking about some games, guys. We're almost there, about an hour away from kickoff. Here's kind of a snapshot of our model data that we lay out and have on our website available to our subscribers. Um, Again, if you're interested, signing up, you can still get 10% off for the season. We've only bet 12. Let's see, 4 games week 1, 16 games after week 2 here. We anticipate there will be in the neighborhood of 150 games bet in college alone. That's not even including NFL. We hope we're aiming for 80-ish games in the NFL on the sides, and maybe about 20 to 30 additional for totals. And then later in the season, we'll have some prop angles, some prop models that we'll have developed, but we don't usually roll those out till later in the season. Just we kind of like to let some in-season data trickle in, right? It's not all that helpful from what we've seen to try to use like last season priors for some of these prop angles. So come like week 8 or 9, we'll also have some angles and some data for prop bets in the NFL. So looking forward to that. All right. Let's see. So yeah, you can kind of see where our numbers are at here. Or if it's not too hard to see, maybe you might have to go full screen on it. But yeah, we have some pretty sizable edges today in the market. And hey, even though it doesn't matter, guys, right? Like this is you're still betting on human beings to do something for you, right? Which is a fickle thing, very sensitive thing to do, generally speaking, right? So just because our edges are what they are, obviously there's no guarantees in this game, right? These bets could still lose, right? Variance is still a real thing, not only in sports betting, but just in real life. So we're confident in the process. We're confident long term, and we still expect to make profit by the end of the year. There's been weeks last year or last 2 years where we've had 8-1 weeks, 9-0 week as well. There's been a couple weeks where we've had like 2-7 weeks as well, right? But it's about the process, guys. It's about the process. It's not about being outcome oriented in any one week. So we got a huge card today, and we obviously hope that we come out on top and have some profit to speak for at the end of it. Even if we don't, we're going to come back tomorrow when the market opens, and we're going to hit the opening lines, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it again because we're confident in the process, right? Can't be outcome oriented in any one week. You got to think big picture. Okay. All right, let's keep it going though. Let's keep it going. All right, what else in the market has been going on? So yeah, Troy moved a little bit towards us. That's good. Kansas still at a 5.5. We sent out last night 6.5. That one was at FanDuel. They've since moved to 5.5 now. But even at 5.5, guys, this is again one of those games where we're showing a pretty sizable edge. So even at the 5.5 at 110, you're still getting edge. So it's still a good play there from our perspective. But yeah, always good to see generally that the market is moving towards your direction here. Oopsie. Gotta get back. All right, let's keep it going. So what else is going on in the market here? I mean, there's been some big moves actually this week. There normally are. There normally are several big moves a week. What was one of them? I think was it the UNLV game that was one? Oh, no. They opened at +3, now they're at +2, but okay. I'll have to look. So it's San Jose State against Texas, 37.5. This one opened at 36. It touched 38 actually, so big move, not a big move, but kind of crossed, kind of was close to that key number of 35. All right, Michigan, Oklahoma. Glad we're on this one as well. It's also fun to have action and opinions on big games as well. Like, don't get me wrong. I know I was talking earlier about having opinions on these smaller non-marquee games. But yeah, I mean, who doesn't like having action on nationally televised games? I mean, come on. All right. All right. So let's filter here. Yeah, look at all these games though that have no edge whatsoever. Most games, this is what happens when you model out, guys. This is what happens when you use data that's predictive and you get rid of mental models and you just focus on finding variables that add predictive power to your outcome, right? You get a table that looks like this. You get data that says most of the games on the slate there is no value, right? Because remember, guys, this is a market. This is a marketplace. Books put up a number. Professionals are incentivized to find inefficiencies and bet their opinions. And as such, books adjust the market throughout the week, right? Until they find that sweet spot, the equilibrium spot that says, okay, this is likely the 50-50 outcome, the true 50-50 outcome where there's no more edge to be had on either side. And they're comfortable just taking action at that point. Sometimes there'll be late movement, of course, right? Sometimes there'll be late movement, of course, but in the grand scheme of things, the market is going to be efficient, and this is why it's important to have data to, if you can, try to originate, use your own numbers, try to add value into the marketplace and bet those opinions, right? But just because you do that, again, guys, it doesn't mean that you're going to get output in every single game. That's like, oh yeah, bet the whole slate. That's just not how it's going to work. Never has, never will. All right. But who no one likes seeing red though, right? We like seeing green. So here we go. Here we go. All right. All right, guys. Let me know what other games let me know in the chats what other games you want to break down. I'm gonna try to be on for another 20, 30 minutes or so. And I gotta get going for the day here for some other stuff. But yeah, happy to talk about what our numbers say from any game, as long as it's FBS versus FBS. And again, I encourage you to stop using your mental models. At least go to our website, btb-analytics.com. If you want to sign up for the season-long package, again, you can still get 10% off. We'll probably leave this up, honestly, for most of the season. After another week or two, we'll probably adjust the price a little bit because obviously some of the value has been eroded now that a couple of weeks have passed. But that's going to get you not only college football, which we anticipate there being around 140 to 150 total picks, plus all the NFL side bets, which will be 80-ish. Totals will be added. We're 20 to 30 throughout the week. Hopefully will be added there, as well as some prop angles in the NFL come like week 8 or week 9. But yeah, we're hitting 55% in the NFL, hitting the openers last 2 years. College football has been at 54% last 2 years. This year, there's some added tweaks, basically, that we made to our NFL data. So we're confident that we can hopefully bump that up a little bit. But we'll see. That's what we're here. That's what you play the game for. Are positive numbers better on defensive stats? If you're looking at the team data stuff. So generally, no. If you're looking at like defensive EPA, defensive pass EPA, rush EPA, negative numbers are better on defense. Positive numbers are better on offense. But for defense, you want to see negative numbers generally. So for example, like if you're pointing out here, let me see if I can share screen to our, I can can only add one screen at a time. It's kind of weird. But if you're looking at, for example, on our team data table, if you're looking at, just scroll over to one of the defensive stats, like defensive echo rate over expected. That's a percentage number, right? So you want to look at, like, if you're looking at Ohio State, you scroll over and you see that they have a negative 10.8% defensive echo rate over expected. That means that they are, relative to an average team, allowing teams, not allowing teams rather, to get to the 40-yard line or generate a big play touchdown 10% better than an average team. Said differently, like if you want to look at defensive rush EPA and you can filter that from top to bottom, right? If you filter it to the highest number, like to the biggest positive number, you'll see teams like Georgia Southern, Kent State, App State at the top, right? But if you filter it so that the lower numbers, aka the negative numbers, are on top, you'll see the top defenses in the country, the SMUs, the Ole Misses, right? And it's only 1 week of data, so like, there's some wonky ones like SMU on there or UCF, right? But that tells you that they are, on a per play basis, they're when teams are rushing, they're putting them in a worse expected spot to score, right, before and after the play. So negative numbers are better on defense. Long-winded way to say all that. All right, Western Michigan, Jin Lee. Let's get back to it, man. Yeah, so that's another one that we sent out to our. That's another one that's on our card today. Western Michigan versus North Texas, right? So we sent this out. We gave a 10. We gave out a plus 10. This one has moved against us a little bit. You can get a better number out there. So 10.5 or 11.5. But we make the number. Oops. We make. No, why is Western Michigan? Okay, who are they playing again? North Texas. I think this is another weird naming convention. Yeah, this is another weird naming convention, so it doesn't populate on our table that we still got to clean up. So I can't tell you exactly what we make the number now at the moment, but what I can tell you is the market has moved against us, unfortunately, in this one. So you're not going to get CLV all the time on all your plays. If you can aim for CLV, especially in main markets, on 55 to 65% of your plays, that's a huge signal. That's a huge signal that your process is adding value to the market. You have a decent shot to be profitable in the long term. So this one is not, unfortunately, part of that 55 to 65%. But nonetheless, we are on Western Michigan here, plus 10. Robert, perfect. All right, sounds good, man. How do I, remove this and just add that? Ain't that hard? Ain't that hard? All right, let's keep it going. I got about 15 more minutes. Game started about 45 minutes, so let's keep this train rolling. I want to keep looking at the market here. Yeah, market's still lighting up, even this close to kickoff, guys. This is when, frankly, this is when the top 1% of sports bettors in the world will be making their plays, right? After every possible bit of information has been gleaned, gathered, quantified, modeled out. This is when some big players bet. We're not there yet. We're not been into this mature of a market. We know our numbers can't really add any value at this point, just based on what we model out and the data we include. Do you guys bet openers? Are the lines available at open? Brian, yes, we normally bet lines at openers. That is what we have been doing. That is what our model can be, both for college football and for NFL. So tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, for example, when the openers go live for college football, we'll be tracking Circa's lines, and when they go live, after all the data has rolled in from the play-by-play stuff and whatnot, we'll run our model. And we'll have output for week 3 at some point tomorrow, and we'll bet into the opening markets. that is how that is where we can add value as the market matures. Our model does not perform as well. So we know we can't beat closers, period, point blank. But yeah, we have beat openers the past couple of years. So that is our strategy currently. So in our model, we bring in, let me refresh this too, so you can see here. Yeah, so you can see here, and again, this is from our model page on our website that our subscribers get. But you can see all the data that we pull in. So this is the number that we make it, right? This is the median market, and we update this. This gets updated and pulled in via API, several times a day. We pull in the median price as well, and then we have our cover probability, which allows us to quantify our edge for every single game. And then we have, of course, the corresponding edge then for that particular game and matchup. So yeah, we bring in the market lines that open, and then that's when we bet our games. Y'all got Northern Illinois plus 17 last night and covered. That's why I asked about Western Michigan. Yeah, okay, yeah, Jim, got it. Yeah. Again, a nuanced thing. I don't know if you're a subscriber or not, but yeah, we had just a weird one-off, unexpected thing with the CFB developers that made our website tweak out, basically, and our data tweak out on the back end. But yeah, I wish it's a naming convention thing that we're going to clean up this week with our code guy, basically. But yeah, I just can't show you the output for that. Just can't show you the output for that game at the moment. That's why I asked about Western Michigan. Yeah, it's still on there. It's still a play that we bet, and we've taken an opinion on it. But yeah, it's just if you've noticed, right? It's weird. Some of the little anomalous thing on our website at the moment. But yeah, you'll see if you scroll through the table. I think I mentioned it earlier, right? You'll see a couple of NAs at whatever team. Like, right, if you look at search the Rice game, it's because like, if CFB data or CFB FastStar like literally has, like, UConn is a pretty classic one. Some data have it in there as Connecticut, some have it in there as UConn, right? And so you always have to like have this repository of naming conventions for these teams, because if they're not the same, when you run your code, it's going to think that it's not there, and then it gives you either no output or it gives you an NA or it breaks the code. So that was one of the dumb like things that changed this past week with the CFB developer stuff. So a lot of naming conventions changed for whatever reason. So it just broke a lot of the code on the back end, which was frustrating for no reason. There were some other issues, but that was part of it. Okay, yeah, Jen, I presume you got the email last night then, or maybe when you woke up? Did you take all how many bets were you able to get down from the updated stuff that we sent? All right, let's see what else. So LSU, Vanderbilt, Virginia Tech. What did we take on that one? I think we took a 1.5 on Virginia or Vanderbilt. No, 2.5. Sorry, it was UNLV that was 1.5. So Vanderbilt still 2.5 in a few spots. Yeah, got it. It's crazy to see. It's crazy to see this kind of volume, but frankly, like there's this huge psychological component to doing this in a serious manner that we're doing, guys. Like I said, when you have volume like this, it gets you excited, right? Because process wise you have an edge, and you feel confident that you would win long term. But this could very well be a bad week for us. This could very well be a losing weekend in college football, and it's gonna be hard. Psychologically, it'll be hard to just come back tomorrow and bet all the week 3 games. But that's what you have to do, guys. That's what you have to do. So when we send out plays, email, I didn't get any. You didn't get any? Okay. Jen, send us send us a DM on TikTok or shoot us an email with what your email is as a subscriber. Unless you signed up today. Unless you signed up today, that is the only reason why you shouldn't have got an email. Did you sign up today? Because if you did, we sent out the email last night. That's the only explanation. But if you didn't, shoot us an email or go do a contact us on our website page. Let us know what email you use to sign up, because every week that's how we predominantly communicate the play. So tomorrow, after when we hit the openers, all the subscribers, we have all their emails, obviously. So once we run the model and send out the plays, no, sign up a long time ago. Okay. Yeah, Jim, I want to get this figured out for you, man. Yeah, because that is not the case. Once in a while, there's a spam issue with our emails. I would encourage you to double check that. I feel bad if it's been going to your spam. So double check that on whatever your primary email is. But if not, still shoot us a message, send us an email, or send us a DM on the Discord or wherever you're comfortable sending us, and let us know your email so that we can make sure you're getting the emails or that you're on the list. Yeah, because would hate for you to miss out on this in real time. But thank you for letting me know. Yeah, we want to try to get that right for you, man. Let me know where you reached out, and then I'll check it and make sure there's no issues. But again, the best thing I can communicate at this moment is just double check that we're not blocked or spammed or sent to your spam folder. We use Squarespace, which I don't like that platform for a few different reasons, for our website and for our emails. Squarespace has basically said to us, like, your emails might get sent to people's spam. We're like, okay, like whatever. So we try to circumvent that a little bit, but it's imperfect. But yeah, please let us know, man. We want to make sure you get the updates in real time. But if you're part of the Discord too, like join that. That's free, right? We chat in there every so often, right? There's not a ton going on, but we'll at least also communicate in there, like, hey, email's going out now, or heads up, be on the lookout here. So we do have some. Yeah, I'll double check my email, especially spam. All right, yeah, good. Please do. All right. All right, Jen. Yes, let us know again. Shoot us a message, man. I'll be on the lookout for your note. On the various platforms on our website, Discord, wherever, and we'll make sure you're squared away, man. But yeah, let us know what you find out with respect to the spam thing, because. All right, guys, I got to head off here. Got to get ready to go do some stuff here. So appreciate y'all hanging out. Thank you for the comments and engagement. Seth is still live on TikTok if you want to head over there and get some additional analysis as well. Otherwise, good luck on today's bets, guys, and we'll see you on the back end. Hopefully another profitable weekend ahead. So take care, guys. We'll see you.